stop trains. Munitions ship on fire. Approaching Pier 6. Goodbye, boys.
Imagine an explosion so massive it obliterated everything within 2 square kilometers, sent a shockwave that flattened a city, and shattered windows 80 miles away. But here's the most chilling part. This wasn't a war zone. It was a peaceful harbor, and the ship responsible, the SS Mont-Blanc, never should have been there in the first place. So what really happened that fateful morning in Halifax Harbor? Was it a tragic accident, or something far more sinister? On December 6, 1917, the people of Halifax, Nova Scotia, woke up to what seemed like just another winter morning. The harbor was bustling, as it often was, with ships coming and going. But no one, no sailor, no dockworker, no family in their home had any idea that within hours, their lives would be forever changed. The explosion of the SS Mont-Blanc would become the largest man-made explosion prior to the atomic bomb. It would leave over 2,000 people dead, 9,000 injured, and an entire city in ruins. But here's the thing. The deeper we dig into the story of the Mont-Blanc, the official narrative begins to collapse. Cracks emerge, exposing unsettling truths that demand answers and refuse to be silenced. Why was a ship loaded with thousands of tons of volatile explosives permitted to navigate into a bustling harbor, one surrounded by homes, factories, and families? Who made that decision? Were they aware of the risks? Was it a deliberate choice to avoid attention in wartime waters? Or even worse, was the Mont-Blanc carrying something so dangerous, so secret, that no one was ever supposed to know it existed? And then, there's the collision. 2 ships, one harmless, the other a floating bomb packed with enough explosives to obliterate a city. How does this happen in a tightly regulated harbor? Was this a careless mistake, or could it have been part of a far darker plan? The Mont-Blanc's journey ended in total obliteration, its explosion unleashing a force so devastating it defied all reason and shattered everything in its wake. Picric acid and TNT are devastating on their own, but the unimaginable scale of this destruction sparks one chilling question. What else was hidden in the Mont-Blanc's deadly cargo? Something the authorities couldn't or wouldn't admit to. These questions unravel the Mont-Blanc's story, tearing apart the official narrative. Let's go back to where it all started. The ship, the cargo, and a series of catastrophic decisions. The SS Mont-Blanc appeared ordinary, a modest cargo ship built for transatlantic journeys. But beneath its unremarkable exterior lay a deadly secret: over 2,500 tons of pure destruction. Its mission: to deliver a lethal payload of wartime explosives to fuel the Allies in World War I. The cargo included 230 tons of TNT, 2,300 tons of picric acid, an incredibly volatile substance, 10 tons of gun cotton, 35 tons of benzol, a highly flammable liquid stored in barrels on deck. To put it simply, the Mont-Blanc was a floating bomb. The ship's captain, Aim Lemedic, was well aware of the risks. He understood that one mistake, just one, could turn the Mont-Blanc into an inferno capable of obliterating everything in its path. To avoid the eyes of German U-boats, the ship sailed without warning flags, hiding its deadly cargo in plain sight. A calculated move for survival, but one that would set the stage for unimaginable catastrophe. That decision would unleash catastrophe the moment the Mont-Blanc entered Halifax Harbor, a bustling lifeline for the Allied war effort, and an environment where even a small misstep could lead to disaster. By the time the Mont-Blanc entered Halifax Harbor, nestled in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, it was sailing into one of the most critical and busiest ports of World War I. Known as one of the largest and deepest natural harbors in the world, Halifax Harbor was a lifeline for the Allied forces. It was a hive of activity, with warships, merchant vessels, and supply ships constantly coming and going, transporting troops, weapons, and vital resources across the Atlantic. Its deep waters and natural defenses made it a fortress, a final stronghold before convoys plunged into the deadly submarine-infested abyss. But this morning, December 6, 1917, the harbor was packed to capacity, a maze of ships navigating its narrow channels. Among the chaos was the SS Imo, a Norwegian relief vessel bound for Belgium. In its rush to depart, the Imo made a fateful error, steering directly into the path of the Mont-Blanc. One ship carried hope, the other carried enough firepower to obliterate a city. What happened next is debated to this day. Some say it was a miscommunication. Others blame the Imo's reckless course. But at 8:45 a.m., the unthinkable happened. The Imo tore into the Mont-Blanc's bow, unleashing hell. Barrels of benzol erupted, flames devoured the ship, and within moments, the Mont-Blanc became a ticking firestorm, a raging inferno. The most chilling part: crowds onshore, drawn by curiosity, had no idea they were watching the countdown to the deadliest explosion in human history. As the Mont-Blanc burned, it drifted closer to Pier 6, a busy part of the harbor lined with warehouses, factories, and residential neighborhoods. People gathered along the shoreline. Children ran to windows to get a better look. No one realized that the Mont-Blanc was about to explode. And then it happened. At 9:04 a.m., the Mont-Blanc erupted with a force equivalent to 2.9 kilotons of TNT. The explosion was so powerful, it vaporized the ship instantly. A massive fireball ripped through the harbor, leveling buildings, igniting unstoppable infernos, and launching deadly debris for miles in every direction. The ship's anchor, weighing over 1,100 pounds, was found over 2 miles away. A piece of its cannon landed 3 miles from the blast site. Shockwaves shattered windows 80 miles away, and the deafening roar of the explosion echoed over 200 miles, reaching as far as Prince Edward Island. For those near the blast, it was apocalyptic. Entire neighborhoods vanished in a heartbeat, reduced to smoldering rubble. Over 2,000 people were killed instantly, their lives erased in a flash. Thousands more were left scarred. Halifax was unrecognizable. Streets were littered with debris and bodies. Fires raged uncontrollably, consuming what little remained. Hospitals were overwhelmed with the injured, many of whom couldn't be saved. Survivors dug through the rubble with their bare hands, searching for loved ones. But amidst the chaos, questions began to surface. The Mont-Blanc's explosion was officially labeled an accident. Investigators blamed the collision with the Imo and the raging fire that followed, declaring them the triggers of the catastrophic explosion. But not everyone was convinced. For one, why was the Mont-Blanc carrying such a dangerous cargo through a busy civilian harbor? Was it pure negligence, or could something more intentional have been involved? Some speculated that the Mont-Blanc's cargo wasn't just explosives. It may have included classified wartime materials, potentially chemical or biological agents, that authorities didn't want the public to know about. Could the fire and explosion have been fueled by something more than just explosives, an unlisted, top-secret payload that no one was meant to discover? Others questioned the role of the Imo. Its erratic course and blatant disregard for harbor protocols weren't just reckless, they were suspicious. Was this really a case of poor navigation, or could something far darker have been at play? And then, there's the most unsettling theory of all: sabotage. During World War I, sabotage by enemy agents was a constant threat. Could the Mont-Blanc have been targeted by saboteurs? Its deadly cargo intentionally ignited to cause maximum destruction. While theories swirled and suspicions grew, the raw human cost of the tragedy could not be ignored. The Halifax explosion wasn't just an event, it was a cataclysm that shattered lives in ways words can barely convey. Amid the devastation, tales of extraordinary heroism, profound heartbreak, and relentless survival rose from the ruins, painting a chilling portrait of human resilience and sacrifice beyond comprehension. One of the most extraordinary acts of heroism to arise from the Halifax Explosion is the story of Vincent Coleman, a train dispatcher who, staring death in the face, made a split-second choice that would immortalize him as the very definition of courage. As the SS Mont-Blanc erupted in flames in Halifax Harbor, Vincent Coleman saw the horrifying truth. This wasn't just a fire, it was a floating apocalypse. He knew its deadly cargo could explode at any moment, unleashing destruction on a scale no one could fathom. Amid the chaos, as terrified crowds fled the harbor, Vincent Coleman's focus locked on the lives still at risk. Through the window of his station, he spotted a passenger train hurtling toward the harbor, carrying over 300 unsuspecting men, women, and children straight into the jaws of disaster. With only seconds to act, Coleman faced a harrowing choice: flee like everyone else, or stay at his post and stop the train, knowing it would cost him his life. It was a decision that required extraordinary bravery. Coleman knew staying meant certain death. The flames raged within sight of his station, the suffocating tension pressing down like a vice. But he didn't waver. Facing inevitable doom, he made his choice: duty over life, sacrifice over survival. Coleman frantically tapped out a telegraph message to the approaching train.
Stop trains. Munitions ship on fire. Approaching Pier 6. Goodbye, boys.
The words were few, but they carried the weight of a life-ending decision. Goodbye, boys. Coleman knew he was signing his own death sentence. With destruction closing in, he stayed at his post, defying fear. He sent the message, not knowing if it would reach its destination in time, but determined to try. Moments after his final warning, the Mont-Blanc exploded. The blast obliterated the surrounding area, including Coleman's station. He was killed instantly, but his message had made it through. The train stopped in time, its passengers saved from certain death. Over 300 lives spared, all because one man refused to abandon his post. What makes Coleman's actions so extraordinary is the sheer, unshakable courage it took to stay rooted in the face of certain death. Where most would have fled, driven by the instinct to save themselves, Coleman chose to defy every survival impulse. Coleman stood his ground, not for his own life, but for the lives of strangers he would never meet. This wasn't just bravery, it was a rare and profound selflessness. Coleman knew the price he would pay, yet he stayed, not out of duty alone, but out of a deep and unwavering sense of humanity. In his final moments, he showed us what true heroism looks like, risking everything, not for recognition, but for the simple, noble act of saving others. His actions are a testament to the incredible strength of the human spirit, a reminder of what it means to put others above oneself, even when the cost is everything. To this day, Coleman's bravery is remembered as one of the most heroic moments in the tragedy of the Halifax Explosion. His sacrifice didn't just save lives, it became a symbol of unwavering courage, the kind of courage that inspires us all to strive for greater humanity in the darkest of times. More than a century later, the Halifax Explosion remains one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history, but its shadows still linger. What truly caused the Mont-Blanc's deadly cargo to ignite with such catastrophic force? Were there hidden factors? Secrets investigators missed or purposely buried? And the most chilling question of all, could this devastating tragedy have been prevented? With today's forensic tools, the answers may still lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered. But until that day comes, the story of the Mont-Blanc will remain shrouded in mystery, its echoes as explosive and haunting as the event itself. The SS Mont-Blanc was far more than just a ship. It was a harbinger of unparalleled destruction, a chilling reminder of human error, and perhaps a vessel carrying secrets that may never fully come to light. But its story didn't end with the explosion. The Halifax Explosion was a wake-up call that reverberated far beyond the ruins it left behind. It exposed the devastating consequences of negligence, the fragility of human life, and the high stakes of decisions made under pressure. The tragedy forced sweeping changes, stricter harbor protocols, better emergency response systems, and a heightened awareness of the risks posed by transporting volatile materials. It shaped not just Halifax, but global maritime safety practices, forever altering the way dangerous cargo is handled and transported. And yet, despite these changes, the haunting questions surrounding the Mont-Blanc remain. Now, we turn to you. What do you believe truly happened on that fateful day? Share your theories in the comment. Your perspective might help unravel the lingering secrets of this dark and devastating story. The sea may keep its secrets, but together, we might finally shine a light on the mystery of the Mont-Blanc. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one.